Hi everyone, today I'm doing the April monthly plan with me, and I know this is a little bit late, but better late than ever, so I'm just going to get started with the washi. And this washi came in a Create 365 washi roll. I actually got it on sale, I think at Michael's at one point, and I just haven't had a chance to use it really because it didn't really go with the time of year, but now it's spring and all the washi in there were very much spring-like. So I've already used a lot of the washis for projects around the house, just adding a little bit of spring in, and now I'm doing it with my planner. So I'm just cutting off the excess here, and normally I try to wait until the entire page is done and cut off all of the excess at once because it's more efficient. But I hadn't really planned out this spread. As you can see here, I am laying out several different washis because I'm trying to see which ones go best with the washi that I knew for sure I wanted on here, which is the one that I just laid out. So the reason why I'm going to say lay it out the way that I just did on the side is because, as you can kind of see, the washi looks different once it's off of the actual roll, just slightly, and sometimes that slight color variance can make or break a spread. So I do this with the washis that I'm thinking about, and that way I can kind of see them and know which one I want. But then I decided that I was going to use these the same as the top on the bottom, and then do something different on the sides of the spread. And just there, I was checking to see if the orange was the same orange as is in the main washi of the spread, and it didn't really go the way I wanted it to, so I decided not to use that, and instead I went with this black diamond on almost transparent white for the sides. And because it is a skinnier washi, I do have to put 2 strips of it up by the holes of the spread on that side, and I just line it up the way that I think will go the best, and then cut off the excess as per usual. And when I cut off the excess, I tried to use the excess on the other side because it's much thinner, and if I can, then there's no reason to waste extra washi at all. And that always leaves, I'm going to say, more washi to play with later on for other projects, which is always a good thing. And then once I do that, I cut off all the excess, and then I'm going to go to the next page. And now that I know what I'm going to be doing, because I just did it on the other side, it'll go a lot easier and faster, and I'm just going to lay out all the washi and then cut off the excess afterwards. And as you can see here, I know a lot of times I'll just use a scissor and slide it up the edge and it cuts really nicely and neatly. It kind of uses the paper as a guide to do that. So I'll do that on most of the sides, but the side that has the holes, because there's little notches in it and the paper is obviously cut so that it can go on the rings, I'm much more careful and try not to use that technique on that one side. I know I mentioned that in most of my spreads, but I've cut off before I'm going to say really got to the point of it frustrating me, but I had cut off several of those tabs before, and that's not fun in your planner. So I just always try to make sure to be extra careful there. And if you're new to this or to just planners specifically, it's a good tip to have. And I also wanted to note that with the top washi, because I was putting down 2 layers, I had originally played with the idea of matching up the color, and then I decided that it didn't quite look right, so it looked better haphazard, not haphazard, but kind of offset from each other. So that's what I ended up doing. And over here, even though I'm going to end up cutting off the excess like I did on the other side, the line on this side that I'm doing right now is much thicker, so I can use a full strip of washi, which is why I didn't cut off the excess from the other side and put it on this side like I did with the second sheet. With the note section, I don't mind it going into it a bit. I don't really use the note section that much, so I kind of just decorate it usually, and occasionally I'll put a list there, but usually it's just decorated or left blank. And that's why I don't mind the washi, say, eating into the bar a little bit. So that's what I'm doing there, and I'm using my 6-inch ruler, obviously, like I usually do, to cut the ends and then cut off the excess all the way around. And then I'm going to get to I'm going to say the main event of the planning, which is marking things down and putting on stickers, which is always fun. I enjoy laying out washi completely, but there's something about stickers it feels like what you're building up for, so kind of when you're starting with this. And so yeah, that's I think my favorite part, putting down the stickers, especially now that once I started making more of my own stickers, and I have stickers that I really want. And as you just saw, I have my computer sitting in the corner right there, and I don't know what I was doing, but apparently I needed to take care of something on there, which is why my hand went across the screen. All right, so now that the washi is done, the next thing I wanted to do before I totally put the washi to the side was mark down my stepson's spring break, which is the first week of this month. And because it's, I'm going to say, a full week, I decided to use washi like I usually do for longer period markings. And you probably saw this washi before when I had several of them laid out. I didn't like it as I'm going to say, part of the main spread decoration around at the border, but for this it was a nice pop of color, so that's why I chose that. It was like different. The orange would have been too similar but not quite the same. I wanted something that popped a little bit more and was still spring-like, and his school color is green, so the green definitely won out. And then I'm just going to write what it actually is on there in a few. All right, so I tend to line the pages back up periodically just so that I can see what it's going to look like. You know, sometimes when it's like haphazard because you've been working on it and then you don't line something up exactly right and then it bugs you once you put it in. I don't know if that bugs anybody else, but it sometimes bugs me. So I tend to line them back up several times throughout my let's say planning process. So what I just did was I marked down that Friday is Army Day and also a flag flying day. So I always mark those down on my calendar so that we know if we can fly the flag. And I wanted to get the posted off if I could. And yes, I did use a 4th of July kit that I had left over from last year. I've just been using different parts here and there, and that light blue worked perfectly. So as you saw, I wrote down that was marking off spring break, and I just used a regular Sharpie to do that. It usually is the best thing to write on washi with, depending on the washi, it really does. So I tend to test them on a scrap piece before I go in and write on them in my planner. I've gotten quite a few smudges by not testing it beforehand and then the ink smearing off. So what you just saw are those stickers I'm going to be using to mark down the fact that it's April. And I was going to do that first, but I realized I had blocked off the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from the whole grid. So I was just putting that aside and putting these back on with these handy dandy stickers that I did print myself way back like last year, and I'm still going through them, so I printed off several, apparently more than I realized, but they still work, so that's what counts. And I'm just going to lay these out, and then I'm going to go back and use those silver stickers. And those silver stickers I did get from Dollar Tree, and while they're really pretty, I don't like them at all. I don't like the fact that you get half of the alphabet in each pack. So like if you need the full alphabet, you have to go through and find the same color, but the other, let's say half of the alphabet, and you have to buy two things as opposed to it just all being in one. And so if you don't hold them right, they're kind of, I don't know how to describe the material of it, but it's almost foamy. So you can pull it really weirdly, and depending on what you use to hold it, it can leave impressions. I've used like tweezers on them before, and it just like left imprints, and it doesn't look very good. But for this, it works, and I was able to use my fingers, so all was good. And I did start from the L and work my way backwards. It was easier to line them up that way, so that's the way I decided to do it. And I did decide to go all caps, even though the sticker sheet has both uppercase and lowercase. I liked how the all uppercase looked on this one. So I just put that on the top there, and then I make sure that they're all down well, because these ones might come up if you don't make sure that they're down properly. Once they're down, but if you don't make sure to get them down right the first time, they will come up. And now I'm just marking down that my sister's birthday is on the 25th, and a little balloon there, and then I'm just going to use actually a Sharpie pen. I bought this not that long ago because I'm planning on doing a video about Sharpies, just like a bunch of them. I'm going to say get into that more later on, but I had this and I've been using it and am totally obsessed with it. Not sure why, but I've been using it to write so much stuff. So that's what I used to do the actual writing on the planner, and then that sticker to cover the notes thing up at the top of the sidebar. And then I just decided to add a little extra silver up at the top with those two dots that were, let's say, at the bottom of that alpha sheet. And now I'm using this washi, which I got from a Recollections box set. It was the holiday box set, and I'm using it kind of like a sticker. I'm just cutting out the fact that it says Happy Easter, and I'm putting that on April 1st, which of course was Easter. So I've done this several times because it just works well. I don't have Easter stickers, and washi is kind of a sticker, so I might as well use it. And it fit decently in the box. I mean, it kind of filled up the entire box, but I didn't have anything really going on that day, so it was all fine. And then I remembered that I don't have, but my fiance has a doctor's appointment on the 10th. Just one of those regular checkup things, but I keep track of them because he tends to forget what day of the month it is, which isn't bad. He just works really hard, and therefore I track things like doctor's appointments. So using that Sharpie pen yet again, I just marked that down. And that sticker that I stuck there is a sew from Recollections with that like wallet set. Anyway, that's all for this month. I hope you had a great one, and I will see you next time. Bye.